Hello and welcome back to Coding with T. In today's tutorial, we're going to learn how we are going to upload images inside our Firebase storage and also inside our Firestore in our e-commerce admin panel. And basically what you're going to learn is how you are going to upload the images inside Flutter Web. This is going to be a bit different because we cannot use the Dart.io package as we are using and the packages that we are using to upload and deal with the images inside Flutter app development if we talk about the Android and iOS, but the web is a bit different. So we are going to learn how we are going to first store the images in both and why we are going to store those images. First of all, let's see the demo. Okay, in here we have the data, that is the dashboard. We have already created the dashboard, and if you're new, you can watch the previous videos. Link is in the description. And now we are about to create the media section, in which we have already designed the content section with the folders and also this upload images area in which we can drag and drop the images. We learn how to use the drop zone and how we are going to drop the images. And today we're going to show those images. So let's say I'm going to select some of the images from here and click on open, and you can see these images loaded in a new section which we have already created as a design in the previous tutorial. You can get the link in the description, and also it has the same folder as we have the folder down over here, and it also has a remove all button. It is going to remove all these selected images, and also we have the upload button. So what you have to do, you have to understand the logic behind how we are going to upload and how we are going to then fetch the images. This is a very critical part that you have to understand before directly jump towards coding. And also make sure to watch this video till end. So we have selected all the images over here, but when I'm going to click on the upload button, this button, these images will be start appearing down below over here. But first I have to make sure that it should land in either banners folder, brands, categories, products, or users. There is no folder called the folders, so we have to add a check while uploading. Let's select the banners, and down below you can see a loader which is going to fetch the banner images, and we have all the banner images, or you can say 20 banner images with the load more button. And when I'm going to, let's say, select some of the image, you can see that image in detail in the large size, or in a pop-up we have the image name, image URL. You can add more details that we are going to store. So let's close it. Okay, now how this is going to work, let's assume that we are not going to target the folders. Instead, we are going to directly store the data inside the Firebase storage, and in that we can create the folders, and we can definitely fetch data from the folders. When we're going to fetch the data from Firebase storage, we have to fetch all the images rather going into the folders. And above all, definitely we can fetch images from that specific folder from the Firebase storage, because in the Firebase storage we can create the folders. But that is not the case, or that is one case. But the other main thing is that we cannot fetch only limited images. But as you can see over here, we have only 20 images loaded. To save Firebase storage MBs, we have to save, or you can say the bandwidth, we have to save the reads and writes. So for that, we are going to store these images in the Firebase storage, but also we have to keep this record inside our Firestore database, right? We are going to create a new collection with the name of images, and in that images, we are going to store the record of each image. So when I'm going to select the banners, it is going to trigger this brands option, and after fetching all the brands by first looking into database, then it is going to get the URLs of each entity, up to 20 entities or up to 20 items, and then it is going to go to the database and ask the database to give us this image, right? So the images are right in front of us. Okay, so today we are going to upload the images, so let's get started. Okay, as you can see, we are creating Flutter e-commerce admin panel, and we are inside the media section. And previously we have covered 6 sections until the dashboard. We did the configuration, we did the routings, responsive designs, admin management, tables, dashboard. We learned a lot of concepts. If you're new, you can again watch the previous videos, and also you can get the link to download the code in the description below. So let's get started with our today's tutorial to upload the images. Okay, we are inside our Android Studio, and we designed the media uploader in the previous tutorial. And if we scroll a bit down, you can see we created this drops on view, and inside this drops on view we have this on drop function. And one more thing, in the drops on content we have this select images. So we are going to use these two methods to trigger the event to get the images from our local device folders. So let's bring this on drop at the end, and instead of this fat arrows we are going to create a function, and in this function we are going to check if this file is an actual file or it is some type of document or it is something else that we do not want to upload. So we are going to add a check over here if file is html.file. So what is this html? So if you scroll a bit top and in the imports, you can see I'm using the package which we have added in the previous tutorial, which is the universal HTML instead of the simple HTML. But instead, if you are not using this package and you are using the simple HTML, which you can use something like this dot colon HTML, and let me remove this, and you just have to write as HTML. And if you scroll a bit down and over here, you cannot see any error because it is again working. But at the top in this import, if you scroll it, hover it, you can see don't use web only libraries outside Flutter web plugin packages, right? So this means that Flutter is warning us to not use this. So instead, we're going to use this package, which is going to handle all these warnings and just add as HTML. So using that as HTML, we can simply call html.file, and it is going to return us the file that we are going to get while uploading images. So if it is a file, we have to convert this file into uint8 list type. So to convert that, let's create a variable called bytes, and using a wait sign, we have to call the controller, which is the media controller that we created in the previous tutorial. I will show you in a minute. So media controller dot, if you remember, we also created the drop zone controller that we have initialized over here in the on created, and it has a function which is get file data, and inside we have to pass the file, and it is going to return us, let's add async to this function, and it is going to return us a type of, if you see, it is a type of uint8 list. So this means that we have converted this file. Now we can store this file or use this file to display the image as a locally selected image, because we can only display images from our local device into a format called uint8 list. Otherwise, we cannot display the images like we do in normal app development. So that's why we have to convert this. And then I'm going to create the image model, and I will also show you that image model, which is going to look like something like this. This is the image model, and it has the URL variable which is required. Currently null, we do not have any URL of the image. We do not know which folder user want to upload the image, so this current image folder is also empty. Then we have the file name, which we are going to extract it from this file variable file.name, which is a string, and then we have the local image to display, because we just want to display the image, so that's why we have to convert it. We need those bytes, and we have to call this uint8 list dot from list, and using that we are going to assign this to our own locally created variable inside the image model. So first of all, let's see this media controller. If you remember, we created the media controller, and inside we created the drop zone controller, which we initialized inside our drop zone view over here in the on created. Then we have show images, loader section, and selected path. So controllers is assigned. Then we are going to wait for the on drop function. Whenever it is going to trigger, it is going to return some file, and we're going to check if this file is a type of actual file from the HTML package. Then we're going to convert it to the uint8 list, and then we have to create our image model. So let's see the image model. So this is the image model that we are going to use, and at the top you can see I'm using the .html. Instead of this, we are going to use the package which is universal HTML dot. Okay, now inside, if we talk about the image model, we have ID of the image, which is not final. Then we have the URL of the image, which we will extract while displaying the data. We will extract the data from the Firebase, and we will assign the URL over here, and later on in the design we are going to use this URL for each image to display the image to the user. Then we have the folder of the image, then we have size bytes in the integer, then we have media category, this means type of the media, then we have the file name, full path. These are the metadata content of the image, and if you want to view this data, you can do that Same way we have created it and updated that information. And also we have the content type. After creating these variables, which is the metadata of the image, we have some other files which we are not going to use, or we are not going to store these variables inside the database, but rather we are going to use them inside our functions just for the helping purpose. So you can see we have a file, because when we are going to create a new image, we have to assign a file to this image model, which we have done. After the file, we have a boolean variable, which is a type of rx. This means whenever there is change inside this, we are going to later on use this to select the images. Then we have the type of local image to display, which is OINT8 list. So these are not going into the database. That's why I added a comment over here, which is not mapped. Then we have the constructor of this. And after that, we have some helper functions. And then we have to JSON. This means this data is going to be go to the JSON, which has a URL, folder, size bytes, and some other data. You can see it does not include any of these things. Okay, after that we have when data is going to arrive from the database, from the Firebase, then we're going to convert that data using this function. We will send the Firestore a document snapshot over here. It is going to extract that JSON, and using these functions, it is going to get the data from the JSON and assign to all these values. And if we do not have anything, we are going to return the helper function, which is empty image model. And then one more thing, which is when we are going to store the image inside Firebase storage, then we have to use this function to again return the image model, which will be filled with metadata. You can see this is the metadata or size of the image, metadata when it is updated, full path, time created, content type. So these are things we will get from the Firestore. Then we have a folder name, file name, and download URL. This means that whenever the image will be uploaded to the Firebase storage, then we are going to get all the details of that image using this function. So once the image model is ready, we can close this, and in here in this on drop, we are going to receive one file at a time. Let's say I have dropped 6 files or 6 images, then we're going to receive one image at a time. So we only going to deal with the one single image. So there is no for loop. So whenever we are going to receive a file one by one, we are going to get that file, add whatever data we have. We have the actual file data over here, we have the file name, and then we have the locally uint8 type of list that we can display to the user that this is the image that you have selected and not yet uploaded. So we have created or initialized this model. Remember that we might have a lot of images. This means that we have to create a list of the images, and we have to add this image into that list, and we will do that for all the upcoming images or files. So to create a list, we will again create all the list, all the variables inside our controller. So I've created a list. I'm going to use the image model. So it is a list of type image model, so that we can store all the list mapped into the image models one by one, like we have integers, list of strings. So same way we have list of models. We have multiple models here, and each model contain data of each image, and you can see it is a type of rx. This means whenever there is change inside this list, it is going to update the UI. So now it's time to fill up this list. Inside this if statement, using the media controller, we are going to call selected images to upload, and we are going to use the dot add function, which is going to add the new image and ignoring all the previous data. So it will be added as an extra new image into the database, and is not going to override the previously uploaded images inside the selected images. So now, no matter how many time we are going to upload images, it is going to add all those images into selected images to upload. And this is a list which is going to store all those variables. And let's say if you want to use else if that is not a string, and if file is a type of string, you can print it like this, and else you can print something like this, but that's your choice. Okay, we have done creating our own prop. Now you have to do something similar when the user is going to select the images using this button trigger. So I'm going to create a new function inside our media controller, which is going to be select local images. So let's go to media controller, and in here I've created a future type of select local images function, which is going to be an async. And first I'm going to import the universal HTML package again as HTML. Whenever this function will be called, we are going to trigger the await sign, and we're going to use our drop controller dot. It has a function which is going to pick files from the local storage, and if you want to use the single image to be selected each time, then you do not have to pass the multiple as true, because by default at the top you can see we have a multiple false and we have a list of MIME type. This means we can define what type of images we want. So I'm going to add multiple as true and MIM type of image JPEG and image PNG. So by this way, at the end we will have all the selected images, or I'm going to name them files. And if files dot is not empty, then we're going to run a for loop, because over here if you hover over the files you can see we have list of dynamics. So this means we have list of files. So in this case we have to run the for loop. Now we can go to the media controller again, and in the on drop we have to copy this if and simply paste it over here. We have to remove this controller because we are already inside this controller, and we have to import this second library, which is import library dart type data for this OINT8 list type, and also remove this controller from here. Now what we are doing the same thing. We are going to extract the bytes using drop zone controller again with the get file data. We are going to map that data inside our image model, and we're going to add those images inside selected images to upload. So now whether user is going to try to drop two images, then going to use the button to add more images, all the images will be at the end stored inside this local selected images. Now again go to the media uploader, and in which we have a section which is, so scroll a bit down, and over here which is the T-rounded container, which is going to display the folders drop down. Then it has all the locally selected images. On top of this container, we're going to add an if statement, which is going to check that if selected images to upload is not empty, only in that case we are going to display this T-rounded controller. So Control Alt L. Now whenever this if statement is true, only in that case this T-rounded container will be visible. If there is nothing inside the selected images, TRoundedContainer will stay false and nothing to be displayed. Okay, now let's scroll it a bit down, and over here in the locally selected images, instead of adding all the children's manually, we're going to remove this. We're going to use the controller dot selected images to upload, and inside we have to use the where clause, and inside the where clause we have a function like this. So we are going to check if, let's say, we have the image over here, and just to make sure if image dot local image to display is not null, only in that case we can display all the images. Just an additional check, and then we are going to use dot map to actually print all the list of items, and I'm going to name it as element. Again you're going to use the fat arrow, and this time we are going to use the same widget, which is T rounded image. And I think we are missing with the bracket over here, and also one bracket at the end, because after this widget we have to add dot to list. And now we are going to fill the T-rounded image with the same width and height as 90, padding as small. Image type is memory this time. Previously it was local image, and this time it is the type of memory, and memory images inside this element, which is actually the image folder that we are going to image model, sorry, which is we are going to fill when the images will be selected. And basically it's coming from this locally selected images, and one by one we are going to get this image model. We are going to extract the local image to display, and that is actually the image or the type of memory image, which is actually a type OINT8 list. And then we have the background color. So we are going to display all the locally selected images like this way. Now let's try to run this application. Okay, so our application is running, and we are just logged in with the dashboard in front of us. And now click on the media, and in here you can see we are currently seeing the static content which we are going to fetch in the next tutorial. But for now we are going to upload the images. So click on it, and currently we cannot see any section with the images because it is empty, and locally selected images is empty, so we cannot see the section. Now let's try to get the images. Click on this button. Let's say we're going to select these two images. Click on open, and you can see we have this section available, and we have two images over here. This means that our list received these two images, and our OBX function is working very much fine, and the UI has been redrawn whenever the list has been updated. So we have two images over here. Let's click on this remove all. So whenever we're going to click on this remove all, it should clear the list and these images should be gone. And for that we have to just go to this remove all button and call controller dot selected images to upload dot clear, and that's it. Now save the code, toggle the uploaded images, upload one. So we have one image over here. When I'm going to remove this, and you can see it's gone, this means we have successfully removed that image. And also let's say I'm going to drop this image over here. and you can see that image is now right in front of us. This way we can add multiple images or single image. And now when we are going to click on this upload button, we want to upload this image into Firebase storage, and also we want to fill all the image model data, and we want to store that data inside our Firestore database. So for that, I'm going to use this upload button, Control Alt L to align, and over here we're going to create a function which is going to be upload images confirmation box, because first one, we're not going to directly upload all the images to the database or to the Firestore storage, because users should have to confirm you want to upload those images into specifically selected folder. If you see the design again, over here we have the folders, and inside we're going to upload that image in one of these folders. So we want to make sure that one of these folders is selected. And if you already watched the previous tutorial in which we created this media dropdown, inside this media dropdown we have the selected path, which is going to, if we open this, which is inside media controller, we have the selected path of type media category. And also, if you're new, you can see the media category is a type of enums. So it is a type of Rx. This means whenever there is change inside the selected path, it is going to update the dropdown, and also it is going to store the updated state of selected path. So we want to make sure that selected path is properly selected. And after that, we are going to allow the user to upload those images in that specific folders. So let's create the confirmation pop-up. Again, here I've created a function which is upload images confirmation, the same function that we have assigned over here in the upload section. You can see the error is gone because this button will not be visible inside the mobile screen, as we added the design previously to overcome the sizing issue. So we also added the upload button for the mobile device, for the mobile screen over here. If this browser is going to be opened in the mobile browser, then the button will be displayed right after these images. So for that time, we also have to add this on press. Same we have added at the top so that it can call the same function, which is this one. And it is going to first of all check that if selected path, which is the path of the drop-down folders, if the selected path is equal to folders, which is the default. If you see over here, the default folder is the folders from all these enums. So this is the folders. Then we have banners, brands, categories, and users, products. So if the folders is select, we want to display a warning snack bar, which is going to get the title as select folder, and message will be please select the folder in order to upload the images, right? So this is the TLoaders, same from our e-commerce app, and in here just I added the width as 500 so that it cannot take all the available space of the desktop. So using these snack bars, we're going to display the errors, success message, and bunch of other things for the warnings. Now if this is not the case, the proper folder is selected, we just want to display a pop-up or the dialog box. And for the dialog box, I'm going to use the T dialogs. If you remember, we created again these dialog boxes in e-commerce app, and it has a single function which is a static function. We can directly call T dialogs dot default dialog. It is the class located inside utils, pop-ups, and dialogs. So it has a context. Title is by default removal confirmation, because most of the time we use pop-ups to remove the things, to delete the data. So I have added some default text. You can definitely override it. We have on cancel and on confirm button, and actually this one is the show dialog. And if you hover over this, you can see it is packaged from the material library of Flutter. So using this, just pass the context. Custom title confirm text is upload. On confirm is this function, and content we are going to display is this one, which is, are you sure you want to upload all the images in this selected folder with uppercase and at the end question mark. So when the user is going to confirm, this means he want to upload the images. Now we can start the process to upload the images. For that, I'm going to create method of upload images, which will be an async function, and its return type will be future type of void, and add an async over here because now it is going to deal with the cloud queries. So for that, we have to make sure we are going to use the try catch so that our application should not crash in any case. And in the catch, we are going to first of all that we have not yet started the loader, but we are going to use the T full screen loader dot stop loading, and this is the full screen loader created in the same pop-ups. Full screen loader, we are using the same class we used for our e-commerce app, and we're going to call this open loading dialog whenever we want to start the loading, and it is going to make sure this show dialog will start the loading. Using this pop scope, we will be disabling the back button so that user whenever going to dismiss this, we will not allow the user to dismiss, and again barrier dismissal will be false. So whenever the pop-up will be started, it will be ended either forcefully by closing the window or at the end of the action completed. And after that, we're going to display the TLoaders with a warning snack bar, error uploading image, something went wrong while uploading images. Okay, so first of all, we have to remove the already open dialog box with which we just click the confirm button. With a get.back, we will close that already open confirmation box. Then we are going to start the pop-up loader. And in this case, I'm going to use the same pop-up show model over here, and I've created a separate function because this is going to be a custom pop-up. So that's why I have to create that same model just for this class. And again, it has a barrier dismissible false, pop scope again used, and pop is false. Alert dialog, uploading images, and then in the column, this is the custom thing. We have first image using uploading image illustration, which is a JSON Lottie file. And if you found this as missing, you will face some exception. So make sure that you have this file added in your assets with a height of 300 into 300. And then we have some space and then a text which is sit tight, your images are uploading. So now we can call this function over here inside our upload images. First, it is going to remove the already uploaded dialog, then it is going to start this uploading images. This means that now we can start uploading our images. Then we are going to create a variable of selected category which we can extract it from the selected path. Basically, this one is a folder, either it's banners, products, brands, whatever the folder which is selected is now inside the selected category. And after this, we're going to get the list of update inside this target list. And what is this now? This is the target list that is going to contain all the images. If you see this example again, you have to notice one thing, that the active images that are right in front of us are the target list. This means this is a list which is being displayed of banner images. This means that currently we are viewing the banners images list, and just for the ease, I have created separate list for each of these folders. This means that we have to now create one list for the banner images, one list for brands. You will understand in the next tutorial when we are going to fetch the images, but for now, let's keep it simple. We are going to have these list over here. When I'm going to click on the brands, it is going to get the brand images from the brands list and assign it to the target list. So target will be right in front of us. So let's say I'm going to upload something, which is this image over here. And when I'm going to click on this upload button, you can see the brand which is selected, the list which is selected is the brands. And we have already few brands over here. And when this upload button will be triggered, this pop-up will be appeared when I'm going to click on this upload button. And now you can see it is uploading this image, and it should automatically remove this from here and upload it right next to the list. So yes, it's done. The image from the top side is gone and we have that new image right in front of us. We can click on this, we can view all the update. This means that we have to get the already displayed list right in front of us, which is currently brands list, and we have to add that new image after uploading to the Firebase storage and into the Firestore database. We have to also assign that image right over here so that we do not have to extract it again from the database. We do not want an extra read and write. So for that, first of all, let's go to the variables, and in here, without worrying anything, we are going to discuss these things in the next tutorial when we are going to fetch the data in detail. So simply, we are going to create the same list as this one, which is select images to upload. It is a type list of type image model, and it is Rx list. So whenever there is change inside this list, it should redraw itself or wherever it is located. Now we have all the list over here. We can scroll a bit down, and now we have to get the already selected list and all its images so that we can add the new image inside it. For that, I'm going to use a switch statement, and we're going to use the selected category. Let's say the folder which is selected is MediaCategory.banners. If this is selected, we want to get the list which is all banner images, and we will assign it to the target list. Then we have the brands, categories, products, and users. If any of these folders selected, we will extract the same list of that specific folder which is currently being displayed in the UI. We will get the list and we will add that list in the target list, nothing else. Now we are going to start uploading images, and later on we are going to add those images. But one more thing, I've added a comment over here which is using a reverse loop to avoid this error, which is concurrent modification during iteration. This means that when we are going to update the loop and we are also adding something in that loop, this will throw the concurrent modification during iteration error. The loop is going on and also the modification is going on. So that's why we have to reverse the loop, and we're going to extract the last image so that it cannot intersect with each other. So I have created a for loop. Int I is equal to whatever the length of the selected images to upload, because this list contains all the local images -1, and then I will be greater than 0, I minus minus. It is going to start the reverse loop. First of all, we're going to get the last image, and using this I and this I index, we're going to extract that image, which will be the selected image. And to get the actual file which we want to upload, we're going to use selected image.file. Now, in order to upload the image to the storage, we first have to create the repository, and all the repositories, as you already know, are going to deal with the database. Inside the data in the repositories, I have created the media repository.dart, and inside you can see it's media repository simple getX controller. It is a class, and over here we have the instance of Firebase storage dot instance. This means we're going to deal with the Firebase storage here. So the function that we're going to use, I've just created it just to save the time. Upload image file in storage. So this is the function that we first have to trigger. Again, it is going to require few variables. The first one is required, means we have to upload the file. Second one is the path where we want to upload this file, and then name of the image that we want to assign to this, right? So how are we going to upload the image? We're going to use this storage, and we're going to create a reference at this path, and this is the name of the image. We have this reference, and then we're going to use this upload file. We have to upload using reference.blob. This means that whenever we want to upload the file to the Firebase, you can see this file is a type of file. It is not a type of OINT8 list. So we get two things. The first one is OINT8 list. The second thing is the file itself. So we stored the file as well. We stored the OINT8 list to display the image, file to save inside the storage. So file is over here. Using this put blob, we are going to store that image in the database. Until this is uploading, we have to use the wait sign, and then extract the URL whatever that image is going to be uploaded in the database storage, and we have to get that URL. We are going to call the same reference where we just stored the image. The image is now stored. Now we can call the reference again and get the download URL. By this way, we can access all the global images which are available inside our Firebase storage. We have that URL, and also we can request the metadata of that image using the same reference. Now we have that metadata, and if you remember, the image model is over here. To get the metadata, get the path, image name, and download URL, and we are going to pass this to this image model function, which is this last function in the image model, or you can call it a constructor, which is going to return us the same image model. But first it is going to map all this metadata, all these variables. We have the download URL, folder, file name, and image model actually that required. We filled all the data, and if you hover over this full metadata, this means that it is a specific class or a specific type that is available in the package of Firebase storage. So we have to use it inside the image model. So once done, we will receive the image model, and we are going to return that image model which is just uploaded inside our Firebase storage. And down below, I have created another function, upload that same image that is just uploaded inside the Firebase storage will now be uploaded inside our Firestore collection. It is very simple. Just call the Firebase firestore.instance.collection, and name of the collection will be images. And in that, we are going to simply add the image that we just received from here, and we're going to call to JSON, and then we're going to return the string, the uploaded ID of that image, so that we can add this real data inside the list, which is currently being displayed, instead of refetching the image again. Now inside, back to the media controller, in here we can upload the image to the storage using the media repository. So first create the media repository instance. So we have the media repository over here. It is a simple class, so I just call the simple class as a simple variable. It's a media repository, and now we can scroll a bit down right over here. Again, here you can see I've created a function. We have called the media repository dot upload image file in storage. First of all, we have to pass the data, upload the image in the storage. So we have the image we extracted from the selected images to upload in the selected image.file. So we have that image. Now we need the path where we want to store our image. So for that, I have created a helper function which will be used multiple times. It is going to check the selected path. Let's say the banner is selected, then it is going to use the ttext.banner storage path, which is over here like this, with just a forward slash, then name of the folder For the storage path, it is a simple string. It is located in the utils, constants, and text strings. So these are the static files, and this helper method or the helper function is simply going to return us that specific selected path. So by this way, we have that selected path over here, and to get the image name, we are going to use the selected image again, not the file, but selected image dot file name. So we have all the data that is required, and now our image repository is going to upload the image and return us that image uploaded in the image model. And now we can use this image model to upload this into our Firebase Firestore. But before that, we have to assign the selected category, because if you remember in the model, we do not have that category, so we also have to store this. So using this uploaded image model, we are going to add the media category as the selected category name, and we are going to pass this final uploaded image to our upload image file in the database. This is going to upload the image into our Firestore in the images collection. Now we have uploaded the image in the database. We have uploaded the image into the Firestore storage and Firestore. So we are going to get the ID. And the last thing that was missing from this uploaded image is the actual ID of this Firestore database, where our image is stored or the details of the image is stored. And at last, we have to remove the selected images to upload at remove at this current index, so that whenever the image is completed, we are going to remove this. By this way, we will avoid this concurrent modification iteration error, and once this list will start reducing itself from top to bottom, and at the end it will be empty. And also we have to add this newly uploaded image into the target list, so that we can use this target list to display the latest images. And if you see, it is a type of RX list. This means that whenever there is change over here, these specific images, whatever the image or the list is assigned to this one, you can see also these lists are type of RX list. So whenever these lists are assigned to this one, and if we change anything over here, it will automatically be back assigned to these lists. So we do not have to do anything else. And the last thing, right after the for loop, we have to stop the loader, and by this way we are done with the function. Now we do not have to do anything. So let's test it. Let's save the code. Now if you open your Firebase console, and in that you have to make sure that storage, Firestore database, and authentication is enabled, and you have selected some of the server and also rules of the Firebase storage and also the Firestore database are not expired. As you can see over here, currently we are testing and the date is 2025, and same is the case for our Firestore database rules. And now let's see the data. And if you see the Firestore database, in the data we do not have any type of images collection. So this is what we are going to add now. Okay, our application is running. Let's click on media, and in here let's click on upload images, go to select image. Let's select the image, and I'm going to click on upload, but you can see we have to select the folder. So let's upload it into the banners. Now we are going to also, you can see the banner is selected down over here. So I'm going to click on upload, and this time you can see we have the confirmation pop-up. Click on upload again, and we can see the animation, which is sit tight, your images are uploading. So let's wait for few seconds, and you can see the data is removed and we did not receive any exception or error or the pop-up. This means our images are uploaded, and we have to confirm it from here in the database. So let's refresh it. Okay, it's loading, and you can see we have the images collection. So let's click it, and we have one record over here. And if you see, we have the content type is image PNG created at this date. File name is part24, breadcrumbs. Then we have folder is a banners, full path where this image is stored in the banners folder. Name of the image is this one. Then media category is again banners. Size in bytes is 192141, and this is the URL where our image is located. Now we can go to the storage, and inside we have the banners folder, and click on it, and there are some images that are already stored from e-commerce app part. So let's try it. Yeah, okay, it's over here, which is part24 breadcrumbs1.png. So let's click on this image, and as you can see, this is the image that we have uploaded, and it is right in front of us, and we have the same bytes, same size, type is same, created date and updated date is same. This way we can also have the other metadata. Currently we do not have any for this image, and this is the file location. With this access token we can get the download URL, so the URL which is already stored in the Firestore database. And now in next tutorial we are going to extract that already stored images using the Firestore database, and we're going to display it right in front of us. So the next tutorials are going to be much more informative. This tutorial was a bit long and might be the next one is also. So if you have any questions, you can ask me down in the comments. And also if you want to download the complete code, you can get the link in the description. Also, you can get the starter kit with all the assets. Link is in the description. Once again, thank you for watching. And if you learned something new, please like the video. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified for all the upcoming videos. Once again, thank you for watching and take care.